Yo, everybody. What's up? It's OCD Mikey. How's everybody doing? Cheers to the gang. Welcome all, wide and far, close and near, big and wide, small and thin. We like all types. Tonight I'm drinking Xavier Zero Sugar Soda Ginger Root Beer. I don't know what it is. Naturally flavored. It's pretty good. Yeah, tastes like root beer. Good stuff. So welcome everybody. We got a guest coming a little bit later. Alberto from let me see. I've got to invite him. Let's see. Invite guest. I'm going to copy this. And then I am going to email this to Alberto. Alberto Guerra at AGD. Okay. Link for live stream. Okay. And then where's paste? Oh, come on. Paste. There we go. Okay. So now I sent it to him. And Alberto will join us in about 15 minutes. Give me a chance to do the intro and everything. Let's see. Where are we? Let me do Alberto. I need to tell him. Just emailed you the link. Okay. And then we'll see him come on. So Alberto is from AGD Production, which is an amplifier company, a United States amplifier company that makes basically most well known for their amplifiers, their Class D amplifiers, and they are really the guys that lead the GaN, Gallium Nitride technology. Alberto is, and then he also makes DACs and other things, DACs and preamps, and all his stuff is really good. It's really good. It's one of the most novel and new and different things I've seen in many years. You know, it's very rare to see novel things in hi-fi because all we do is regurgitate old shit, right? Over and over again. And we put new boxes and we keep telling you that it's new when really it's the same old shit, just reboxed and rebadged. There is really not much new technology other than Class D. And the latest is gallium nitride Class D. So speaking with Alberto, you're talking with somebody who is at the leading edge of new type of hi-fi designs. Alberto's the man, as far as I'm concerned. And he understands a lot. So you guys will be able to call in, and let me give you the number to call in. It's right here. You can write it down or put it in your phone and save it. 415-484-5121. I need to write this down over here so I don't have to 415. I don't even have it memorized. I should 484-5121. And that's the call in. Then you can call in and ask questions yourself, any questions you have or comments to Alberto himself, and hear it in real time. You can talk with the designer. So it's pretty cool. I will do some questions as well, but we'd really like to have you guys ask questions. You can ask questions in the comment section. Feel free to do that, but it's better if you call in, because sometimes the comments go and then there's people talking amongst themselves. And when I'm leading an interview and talking with them, it's hard for me to keep up with the comments while I'm doing an interview. So it's much better if you just call in on your phone. You don't have to be in the video. You know, if you just call that number, you know, you don't have to have a camera. If you want, you can come on as a guest, but really it's just easiest to call and just come in on as a guest from the phone. So I will hide this and go back to the comments. So here we are. Wes is in the house. Hope you're fucking great. I am. Thanks, man. Hey, all. Great guest, Mikey. Looking forward to it. You know it, man. First saw AGD in 2019 at Rocky Mountain Audio Fest. Found the sound in the show to be rather good in hotel rooms. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was Alberto's first show, man. right before I met him. And when I met Alberto, I don't think one amp had been sold. They were fresh into the marketplace. Dave, baby, what's up, brother? I won't be at the show. No, we're not gonna go. I'm not gonna go. I have to be in California after that, and maybe I'll come and see you while I'm there. But I have to come to California anyways. If I go to this show, which I really have no reason to be there, there's nothing I'm going to learn. There's nothing I'm going to see that's unique or special, that's different or anything like that. I'm not exhibiting. So there's no reason for me to be at the show. Show is going to be the same old shit that it is at every show, still. Again, regurgitated shit again and again. And so there's no reason I would go, and then I'd have to come back here and then go back to the show and whatever. It's just going to be people on the West Coast, instead of people on the East Coast doing the same shit on the West Coast that they do on the East Coast. And the local guys, having the big rooms instead of the local guys. Typically what you find is whoever's in that local area is going to have the big rooms, because it's easy for them to do the big rooms because they don't have to move stuff far or whatever. They don't have to ship. So you get your local dealers having the big rooms or your local manufacturers showing up. Somebody like AGD, he goes to every show regardless. But then the other guys, will go just to their local stuff. Good evening, tribe members. Drago checking in from Evanston. What's up, D? How are you, buddy? Shane is in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. You met Alberto at Exmona. Yes, he's a good guy. He's at every show. Have you heard any feedback about this new version of the Puritan conditioner? The 156 NFR, is that the one with the Furatech stuff? All they did is add the Furatech outlets. So I'm on the list for one as soon as he has it. What's up with this crazy Diddy trial? Wild stuff. I have no idea, dude. I've got no idea. All I know is that they're going to make an example of him. Clearly, he is the whipping boy. He is going to catch all the flack for that whole section of shit, for Epstein, for all these other guys. He's going to be made the example. This is the poster boy for it. And this is nothing. Diddy is one little teeny pinhead of the type of abuse that goes on in Hollywood and with, sex trafficking and all that stuff. It's just a little teeny pinhead of a much, much greater problem. So he will be made an example of. He'll probably go away for life. Maybe he'll end up committing suicide, quote unquote. Who knows? But he's the man. He's not going to give up anybody. So he might stay alive typically, but there's got to be people above him, perhaps, that are running Diddy. You can't imagine that. I mean, they run shit on a street level, but they don't run shit on a behind the scenes level. You know what I mean? Those people are invisible. NGAD, next generation amplifier design. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Hope you had a good time at DSO. It was phenomenal, man. That is such a good show. You get little periodic moments of fever pitch, full dead energy, which I've never even gotten at a John Mayer gas show of the dead or whatever they call them. I won't even go see it. DSO actually pulls it off, and they can get fever pitch, and it's a small enough crowd that you can get up close. And then if you're up there just getting off on the music, dancing, as in many ways, when the band sees somebody completely reading their vibe, like getting it perfectly and moving and dancing, they feed on it. They know they're feeding the crowd feeds them back, and you get this back and forth thing. And as an audience member, you can elevate the band, you can elevate the performance if you go for it, and that's your intent, is to connect with the band and elevate them. You will do it. And I love to do that. So it was a phenomenal show. It was great, man. We got Disco Biscuits on Wednesday. We got Metallica most likely on Tuesday. So more music coming up, man. Metallica's playing with Pantera and Suicidal, which would be really cool. So yeah, that'd be pretty kick-ass. That was a fun, it was a fun show. Hey Craig, what's up, man? Enjoyed AGD at Southwest, but unfortunately they weren't the Fishers. Yeah, yep. He had some previous engagements with another Italian brand, but the Fisher and Fishers sound better than the Rosso Fiorentinos in my listening, and no slag to anybody that sells that brand. It's just my preference. It was David Chesky's preference. So you'll start to see me more with AGD, or at least Fisher and Fisher with AGD. Real quick before I go back to Ziggy, Nat Audio and Fisher and Fisher are going to be coming up this weekend at the Thailand audio show. So we're representing in Thailand with our stuff, and it's just going to keep going, man. Fisher is the greatest thing to happen to you guys in hi-fi in a long ass time. And by the way, Ziggy, I don't know if Ziggy's watching. Feeling the first ride to Memphis. Zig took his Harley down to Memphis, or actually took a K1600 GT. That's right. So Zig, the Joker's still back. Your little your Chicagoland bozo is back up on AudioGon. I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. It started out with a dealer in Wayne, Illinois, a guy with no scruples. From the inside of the industry, what I hear is he's a known no-go. That's what the word is. He's good with one brand I know of, but with other brands, they when I talk to some insiders, he's a known no-go. Okay, so this known no-go in Illinois has a fake pair. I think it's a fake pair, because we've tried to buy it every time of 470s. AudioGon knows this. I've made AudioGon aware. This guy is listing shit that he can't fulfill. And we've complained to AudioGon 3 separate occasions, and they still keep supporting the ads, meaning they don't take them down. And so, you could speculate why. Maybe it's because it's an advertiser. You could just speculate. There's no other reason why maybe they protect the people that advertise on their platform, even if they don't have stuff to sell. So yeah, Zig, they're up for sale again. There are no speakers for sale, but they're trying to slag the Fisher and Fisher brand because they know it's taking off like crazy, and they're jealous and they're trying to slag it. And they're just looking like complete assholes, for lack of a better term. But anyways, so anybody in Chicago, anybody that wants 470s for $13,000, that's less than I pay, go get them. Go buy them up. But these guys have already listed them 3 times on AudioGon, and 3 times we've tried to buy them. Because I tell my customers, just like I'm telling you guys right now, go buy them from this fool. And I'll make them legitimate, because they are an illegitimate pair at this point. If you guys are part of the tribe and you buy it, I'll bring them in under my wing and make them legit. But the guy can't sell them. So it's a fake pair that's just meant to try and slag the brand. So anyways, total joke, and AudioGon is supporting it. So I'm starting to question what's going on with the whole thing. And you guys can question in your own mind. Go try and buy them. And then if you can't, then you can send a complaint, can't you? So anyways, good to see you, Zig. I see you, Alberto. We'll be joining you in a second, in about 2 minutes. You will be the one taking Alberto to dinner. I guess so, Dave. I won't be there. Little bro Jay put up his new Martin speakers today. Convex drivers, diamond tweeters. Convex doesn't sit well with me. Never heard them though. They're okay. They're pretty good. We are making some in our network with the same exact drivers. And they'll be a hell of a lot less expensive than Martin's are. Martin's good stuff though. No problem. No question there. Wong, do I have experience with acoustic fields products, activated carbon? No, I know that long haired dude. I have no idea how it compares to ASC. I don't. If one of your PCs and accidentally broke off the ground pin power cord, is it still safe to use but just won't have a ground anymore? Well, yeah, the cord is safe to use, but it's not grounded. So you better ground your piece of equipment in case something shorts so that you don't get electrocuted. Still waiting for GaN Fet to go up against EINCAT. No one will address this. Well, I think Alberto probably will, and he'll be with us in almost 1 minute. And we can find out, because I don't know what that is, Eric. I've got no idea what that is. Used some acoustic field products 12 years ago when they were a tiny company. Could talk to Dennis. Seemed like an idiot. I never went back. Okay, yeah. So that's one reply from Bob regarding that guy. So let us take a second now and let us join Alberto Guerra to our talk here and bring him to the stage. There you go, Alberto. Welcome.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
How are you, buddy? I'm good. How are you doing? Yes.
I'm okay. Thank you.
I like that backdrop there, buddy. Is that a
I like the background. Yes, fantastic. I wish I had that.
Yeah, right. So welcome, man. Welcome. I've known Alberto for a good amount of time, and I consider him a friend and a very sharp and well versed audio designer. And so basically, we're going to open up the floor, Alberto, to people that want to ask any questions. And we know a little bit about you. I don't think we need to go all into your history and into all that kind of stuff. I guess what might be an interesting thing to talk about is, with your designs, what did you see that was in the industry that you said, you know what, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do blank that isn't being done. What did you see? What's your advantage? What was your thing?
Well, Mike, thank you. That's a very good question, because actually it is really the motivation and the mission that I had I set forward when I decided to start AGD. That was not very many years ago, in 2017 in reality, and it's the result of let's say a serendipity moment that I had when I was developing a semiconductor with the international rectifier many years ago. Not very many, but quite many years ago. And during that development, I realized how that new device, and again, so I'm talking about 2010, 2011. So I'm a little older now. And at the time, I realized how this new device could have an incredible impact in many fields. One of them, of course, among many that we have, evaluated in order to promote the new technology, was the audio, and specifically Class D. The GaN Fet, so the gallium nitride MOSFET, is ideal in switching application, and specifically in very, very high frequency application. In fact, until the time, the only application and use of this product was actually in the defense industry, and specifically in the very high frequency radar application, mainly military application in radar. So after a little while, that technology percolated down into the consumer business, if you wish, and the company I used to work for developed this new technology in a commercial product. And among other things, the incredible impact in terms of performance was evident, at least to me, in the Class D, specifically in very high frequency Class D. And when I realized that, because of course I've been audiophile for my entire life, I connected the two opportunities. So the advancement in technology and the love for audio, for the music. And so in that way, I decided to start the development for a completely different design. And my mission was really to, let's say, introduce this technology and wake up, let's say, the environment of the audio business, the audiophile, market, to understand the potential of this new product, and specifically, of course, my product, that was obvious since I started the business, and move forward from old design and in reality, most of that related to bias and something that was, entrenched into the belief in many audiophiles' mind that Class D was an inferior technology, or per se a technology that was not intended for high-end. And there was a bias, a sort of preconcept that people had in mind for many reasons. And my mission was really to eliminate that bias and introduce something that, at the end of the day, has only one target. So making the sound as, most realistic, more real and pleasant that one can try. So that's really fundamentally what I try to do. And I noticed that finally, after several years, others are now understanding a little bit the technology and applying that in Class D design.
Mm-hmm. And is there something that you're doing that is different than what the other folks are out there doing? Like, is all Class D GaN Fet stuff, is it all the same? And if it's not, where and what are the things that would differentiate them?
Well, it's the same question you're asking me about GaN can be applied to silicon or any other device, transistor, or bipolar transistor for application in Class AB as well, or MOSFET as well. Not every product, even they're based on the same material, are the same. And after you master, if you wish, the technology per se of making the device, the application of the device, the way you design the layout, the amplification circuitry, the control, the amount of feedback, the material you use, that is what makes everything a more perfect product. It's not just by, well, I'm using GaN, then all of a sudden everything gets mysteriously better. It's not like that. It's not as simple as that. So that's fundamentally the answer to you. I mean, the GaN, of course, that we use for specifically the audio, for example, the tempo, and we've been using for new product that we are releasing, was actually specifically designed for audio application. And although people think that, GaN, the MOSFET is just a switching device, well, yes and no. I mean, of course, it's a switching device because Class D is nothing more than a switching circuitry, like all of the power conversion circuitry we use every day. But the way you have the possibility to control the parasitic of the layout, the way it is actually physically designed to optimize the application in audio, that is actually what made that device specifically designed for that application. GaN MOSFET are used today in most of the battery charger, adapter, whatever, and they run around 200 kilohertz, maybe 300 kilohertz at the most. A complete different thing is to push the envelope of the application with a device that can actually go 800 kilohertz or 1 megahertz. Today, the limit of the switching is not necessarily related to the device, but is actually the limitation of the controller and the passive component that are available to really push the frequency higher, which actually is physically possible for the GaN, but it's not yet physically possible for ICs that are used in this type of circuitry. Years ago, actually, that was really 10, 12 years ago, maybe more, we designed a device that was actually working at 5 megahertz. And we were working with a very important company in the Far East, actually in Japan, to make it a product. But there was no way that somebody could actually understand how to make a controller IC capable of going at that frequency. I personally physically made a 5 megahertz Class D amplifier, which was very small and very powerful, but was not commercially possible to introduce it.
Okay. So very interesting. So it's almost like a DAC that you're describing something. The thing that I related to is like a DAC that can decode all these extremely high resolutions, but nobody records in those high PCM rates.
Well, not necessarily, Mike. The comparison would be, there are plethora of DAC today available at relatively different, prices and relatively, shape and form. They all based, some of them, the vast majority, are based on the ESS portfolio, the 9039 and 38 and the family. It's not true they all work and sound the very same. Why? I mean, the chip is the same. How could you possibly explain that they don't sound the same? Because this is the same story. Designing an amplifier is one step, of course, is to design the circuitry and the layout in the right way to do it. But then there is many more things, many layers that has to be considered in order to make it sounding right. And that is really what, at the end of the day, is the difference. You can put together, circuitry and components. It doesn't matter, eventually the cost, but it's not automatic that it will sound right. That's really what I tried to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah. And what is you've got some new products that you just released. What is the newest thing that you released? Tell us about that.
Yes. So we have the latest that we have released, of course, is the amplification portfolio is the Duet. Several months ago, or in 2024, has been released, and about 1 year ago, in fact. And has been actually reviewed by many reviewers. Although I really appreciate and value as well the feedback from my customers that chose to go with that new device. I mean, new product, and they are really very, very positive. So that was we have introduced recently, but we have also now working for certain months to introduce a new stereo design, which actually I have sent to you to try. I don't know if you have ever had the opportunity to do.
The video is coming soon for everybody's watching the video.
And then that is the one that it will be the next product. But we are also working on 2 additional product family, specifically for home theater, and 1 additional new version of a fully integrated amplifier that I hope, if everything goes right, to introduce by the CAF 2025.
Yeah,
so
that'll be sweet.
Capital Audio Fest. Yes, we are a little bit in trouble with this glitches that happen to be caused by the new administration relative to tariff and import of semiconductor component and other things. So that have added a little layer of problems. Number 1, time. Number 2, cost. And at this point, the delay is so the time is actually what is the element. It may actually reduce the probability to introduce by November. But we are working very, very hard to make it happen.
Why is there a time constraint? Don't you just pay more?
Well, not necessarily, because the delivery has also been more complicated, with more documentation to have at hand, and sometimes really the bottleneck of many suppliers that are now orders that have problems to deliver. So, we are not a huge company, and so we tend to be not necessarily going top of the list of the supplier that we use.
I got
so
you.
We have to adapt it to the, situation. But I think we're going to make it. So we'll be
sure. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, excuse me?
Personally, I'm really looking forward to that product.
I know you are. So I think you would be very, very, very happy. Of course, again, Mike, that we have a very specific philosophy in our design. Our amps, they all sound very, very, very similarly. The differentiation, of course, is the power and the ability to drive more current, related, of course, to the power supply and everything we design in order to make it more powerful. But it's fundamental that for us, the sound, the amplification stage is not a musical instrument. So it's not that you buy a different violin, they sound differently. No, the amplifier is an apparatus that have to transfer a signal in the most pure way from the input to the output without adding anything, only a gain. And that's really what should be. Unfortunately, that is not necessarily easy to do and not necessarily always true, but this is what we aim to. And again, I think that most of the customers we have recognized that even the people that actually have upgraded from the smaller amplifiers to the bigger one and even to the largest one, for example, the solo, they're so surprised that at low level, when the specifically on voices, female voices, I mean, the mid range, the amplifier are really similar, extremely similar. But of course, people that use, for example, sound labs, huge, electrostatic. Well, if they try to use the audio, they may have not the ability to drive at the level of pressure that they would have if they do with the solo. But again, when they actually try at normal level at the mid-range focusing, the purity of the sound, they're amazed by how good the audio is, for example.
So same sonic signature, yeah.
And you have tested many amplifiers of my design, so you know that.
I have, and which brings up something that I'd like to point out to the viewers right now, which is the what you just said, like with the big sound labs or an otherwise speaker that is hard to drive. If you have the little Audions and say they're not able to drive it at full capacity, this amp does not clip, nor so it won't blow a speaker or it won't blow itself. It's physically impossible to blow the amp or blow a speaker. Is that correct?
Correct. Actually, it's true.
So
there's an incredible level of protection to that we have added. It doesn't, of course,
so that's
malfunction
cool.
may happen and things like that happen, but no, I mean, in all these years, since 2019, 2018, we started. 2018, we released the first prototype. So 2019, when we physically started to sell something, not a single customer ever mentioned problems with the speakers ever. So.
Right.
I'm very proud of it.
Yes, absolutely. So that's something that's worthy of praise for new design stuff, because, a lot of the amps out there are just regurgitated old designs. But with the newer designs, you can actually have an amp that will not clip. It will not send the signal. If there's a clip signal, it won't send it to the speaker, which is pretty cool. And then if it is too much of a load, it may be if it goes into thermal protection, that's the only thing that happens. It just stops, you turn it down, and then the sound comes back, and then you just leave it at your lower volume or whatever. You have abused my amplifier many times over with the most. If there's a limit, I'll find it, brother.
I have a friend of mine that lives not too far from here. Is a guy that you know too, which has a terrible taste for music.
The guy up in
Bakersfield. The show tried to play audible piece of music. Fortunately, his wife has a much better taste, and he saves the day. But the guy play at the level that is almost, it's for deaf people, I would say, And well, it never made any problem.
Well, this is a guy that rides a motorcycle with a Chevy Corvette V8 engine in it. So that
I have no idea what he drives, but I know what he plays. So
he's talking. Alberto's talking about Tool. We've got Dave in the tribe who's got a big rig up, and Dave loves Tool and he loves to play it loud. And it's some heavy music. It'll definitely test the audio system. And so the videos will be coming soon of the new amps that are here. And so if somebody was to go to the AGD website, right, and they're looking at your offerings, can you tell us how they're structured, like between the ones that have the tube and the ones that don't have the tube?
Yes.
Can you give us a quick outline of the hierarchy and how they're organized so people understand it, so it makes sense?
We try to, again, we don't have a huge portfolio, but a very consistent one that was conceived in order to satisfy the request and the desire of so many, audiophiles with different opinion and different level of budget, but most importantly desire for certain aesthetic or not. When we started, as you know, we designed the Class D stage inside a tube, and this is basically our classic line. So the Audion, and the Gran Vivace, so the 200 watt and the 400 watt.
I love that, by the way.
You know that, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
very easy to swap the GaN tube in order to upgrade, and we have been so far on MK3. I'm working on for the Gran Vivace. I'm working on the MK4, which will be I hope again released by end of the year. I'm pushing a little bit the envelope on this, and this design were actually in some way also a statement in terms of industrial design. The Audion with this touch of Art Deco, which I really love. The Vivace and the Gran Vivace had this more post-industrial type of design with the acrylic, the see-through, something that nobody ever tried in this field. And again, this product, so the classic line, if you wish, were intended for, let's say, satisfy the desire of those audiophiles that merge both the demand for certain sound quality, but at the same time, a touch of indoor decor, something that they want to show what they have, but it's not just a box, a huge box on the floor, which you really don't understand what it is. So the design of these two products were more into the artistic, if you wish, level. From the design point of view, the outside design, I mean the cabinet, the technical solution of the physical presentation, and of course a very, very, very high-end sound. But of course they may have presented some challenges for people that may have limited opportunity to display or present the electronics in their, the sound system. In their either caveman or living room, whatever, which may not necessarily compatible with the other member of the family, for example, and so they may have some other type of request for a more traditional design. That's why we have introduced, for example, with the Tempo and the Duet, a more classical, let's say, box size. Although we try to give a touch of I would say Italian design, but it's not really Italian, just artistic touch. Specifically, that it's not just a matter of look, but it's also substance. It's not the artistic per se that makes the thing different. If you just use, not good material, we use. All of things we do is a single chassis, single billet CNC aluminum block. So the possibility to modify the shape, of course, is possible through quite expensive, machinery. But at the same time, it's not just the artistic design, if you wish, or the industrial design, but specifically the fact that it delivered to the audiophile, lovers, a sturdy design that is vibration free. It's not just a thin metal sheet that has been put in a shape that looks like fantastic, but is so light and thin that if you bump on it, it just starts resonating. So again, the Tempo, the Duet, and the Solo have been designed to accommodate a more traditional installation in which people may like to have a rack and things like that. So fundamentally, that is the differentiation. Per se, the electronic inside is extremely similar. All of our design can be upgraded. Of course, the Audion and the Gran Vivace is easy, just swapping the tube. The Duet, the Tempo, and the Solo, they have a physical daughter board that need to be plugged and unplugged in order to upgrade the power stage. But beside that, the fundamental design, the topology, the material, are basically identical to the Tempo is basically an Audion in stereo. The Duet is nothing more than a downgraded version of the power wise of the Gran Vivace. The Solo stands on itself in this category of 600 watt, very high powerful design. So the differentiation is fundamentally more toward the flexibility and the compatibility of the outside design shape into
aesthetic,
the aesthetic into the environment.
I can vouch for that to those of you that are watching that have not seen an AGD product. Alberto takes a lot of pride in his designs to the point where I remember at the beginning, with the tubes, and some people didn't understand that. We said, well, let's make maybe make one that is a box. And I said, yeah, just make a box without a tube. And I'm expecting some cheap box, right? And the box comes, and in typical Alberto fashion, it's a beautiful, he can't just do a regular box. It's a beautiful one-piece billet, like there's no seams in it. You open from the, it's got a beautiful backlit illuminated button. It comes, even his product that is the entry level, which I believe is 5,800 or 5,500. 5,500 comes in a freaking Pelican case. So here's somebody that takes great pride in the product. They all come with audio grade power cords. So it doesn't come with some little cheap shit molded Chinese plastic power cord. It comes with an audio grade power cord in a die cut fit foam box with a rag to wipe down. A rag is a poor word, a cloth to wipe it down, a packet of there's very much care and pride and attention to detail with Alberto's products. And what I always tell myself when I see a product that's done with the packaging, you can imagine what's done inside with the circuit design and everything else. If this guy is taking this much attention to make sure that all these little details are taken care of, you can bet all the little details are taken care of in the circuit design, in the power supply, in every part of it. So it's quite a product. I ever since the first product I got, remember, I got the first Grand Vivaces, or they were Vivace at the time, right? And yes. I pulled it out, and it was so beautiful. I was so stunned by what I was looking at. The circuit inside a tube and a Lexan top, where you could see into the circuit with the black boards and the red caps. And I'm like, oh shit, man, here's a guy who sees things like that's like how I would do it, beautiful, paying attention to the colors and everything. I'm like, I can't, my expectations are up here. I'm so enthused and by this, I have to let it sit. And I even sent Alberto an email. I said, I hope this is as good as it looks, because this thing is phenomenal. Never seen anything like this. So I'm going to wait 24 hours before I listen, because my expectations are too high. And then I listened the next day and I was like, oh my God, man, I've never heard anything so fast like this. So precise and fast. And it was an incredible experience. So since then, Alberto has expanded the designs into preamps. I remember listening to the preamp. You've done a great job in the preamp. Here's not a brand that only does the amps well, but the preamps kind of suck, or the DACs kind of suck. Like everything that Alberto does, I got to applaud you, brother. I mean, you've done a good job on everything that you design. I trust anything you bring out. I would completely trust it. No problem, man. If it's got the AGD name on it, I know it's good. Thank you. That's for anybody that's considered.
You have the new Andante MK2, right? The new, we modify completely the DAC is a completely new design, R2R, and also we eliminated, at least on the Andante MK2, the click of the volume control. People were, I love the click.
Funny. I like it too. I like it too.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's the fact that you can
it's a relay.
Yeah, it's a relay. You don't, more than that. But anyway, thank you for what you said. I mean, I'm really paranoid on about details of everything. And so that's why, it's not that we try to do anything different too much per se, but I do the things in the way, if I were a customer buying something, I would expect that. And so I pay forward to my customer that type of attention. I mean, this is what I would like to have if I buy something. And so I pay forward that.
Yeah, that's obvious. So yeah, the new DAC, so folks know, Alberto makes a front-end solution that is a complete front-end solution. So it's got a streamer built in. You just plug your Ethernet in, immediately you find it on the network. It's plug and play. You don't have to map drives or do anything weird. You just plug it, bam, it finds your network. It's got the Andante has a phono pre on it. And does the Alto have a phono pre too, or no?
Yeah, they all have. The difference between the Andante new design, Andante MK2, and the Alto, basically the phono stage is identical, which is actually a fully balanced design. But in the Alto, we still have, I would say, a manual setup for the impedance of the MC. So there are deep switches that need to be moved. In the MK2, we decided to make it a little easier. So there are is via relay. So it's actually through the menu. The menu can actually, the user can modify the impedance and adapt the cartridge impedance and the phono stage impedance accordingly,
cool.
without moving dip switches. So that's really the correction. I mean, correction. It is more expensive to do that. Of course, it's more complicated. Require that we have to redesign the software, the software control, and of course the interface. But we're doing little incremental improvement just to simplify and to make the life of the user easier. Although, of course, that this type of setup is done once, with that cartridge and never moved.
Sure.
No, they both have the phono stage, 3 analog input, including the XLR input, and most importantly, we maintained the I think it's almost unique type of functionality with the 3 separate output that we offer. So in reality, every AGD line stage or an preamplifier can drive 3 set of amplification system. Typically, you can use the B amplification, the first 2 output to get a B amp connection for your speakers, and use the 3rd output maybe for the subwoofer. We offer the subwoofer output. And, I remember that we did, under your request, some special version with the, I-pass filter as a crossover to cut the, to simplify the B amplification as well. So anyway, they both have these triple outputs. So for a very demanding application in which people want to have more, specific amplification per each stage of the loudspeaker, they can be driven accordingly.
Do both models have that ability?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's amazing. So if you guys aren't clear on that, there's you can run a biamp, meaning you've got 3 outputs left and right. What is it? Is it 1 XLR, 2 RCAs? Yeah,
so there's 1 XLR and 2 RCAs, simply because when we designed the I mean, I have to say it because otherwise it seems that there is too much thinking. In reality, there was not enough thinking. When we designed the case of the Andante, we want to make it identical height of the Gran Vivace. We have underestimated the what means to make 3 XLR, 1 on top of each other, and so the height of the case was not enough to accommodate 2 XLR outputs. So we have to go with 1 XLR and 2 RCA. There was not enough space to put 3 balance output and 3 single-ended output. So
Sure.
we decided to go with. But again, it would have been an overkill. At the end of the day, what anybody would do is to use the XLR for maybe the mid-range side, and then the single-ended eventually for the lower frequency connection. Again, so it was not a technical decision that I can explain. It was just
no, that's fine. I mean, it works. Look, I'm just
I think that if I have to be honest with you completely, the mistake was, I'm Italian, so my brain, as most of the European, works in decimal and not in inches, and so I think it was a conversion between millimeter and inches that screwed up the design of the height of the unit. So that was the reason.
Well, it's still okay. So the bottom line is, and a great characteristic of AGD is they listen to I'm the feedback because I'm the dealer, right? And I interface with you guys, the tribe and everybody, and I know the kind of audiophile things that we would love to have built into a piece, so we don't need all these extra boxes. And Alberto was great about adding these features that are audiophile features, so that we have them built into a box. So now he's got a box. You don't need any special splitters or anything or an active crossover because it's included in the back of the unit. So are you still with us, Alberto? It looks like you froze.
Yeah, I'm with you, but apparently the video is off.
Okay, so let me see if I can see if
somehow it's been.
It's a little frozen there.
Yeah, it's frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Maybe it'll pick up in a second. I just have your picture. It's just your image sitting there. Okay. He's probably going to come back and join us in a second. Yeah, so there you have Alberto. I see Dan asking. Okay, we're going to add him again.
I'm back.
Okay, there you go. Now we're working
with the network.
Thanks for doing that. Okay, so Dan, someone's asking Alberto if all the AGD components are made in the USA, anything sourced from China. I can probably answer that and say maybe some little resistors and chips or
Yeah,
parts
no,
may
I can
come.
answer.
Yeah.
I can answer without any problem. So the question about sourcing from China is a little too generic and simply, simplistic. Most of the chassis are built, are made in the United States or in Europe. So 100% source either from Europe or United States. But however, the electronic components and everything that populate any sort of device that we own, we buy, we use, are made globally. And the vast majority, and when I say vast majority, I would say that is maybe 80%, if not even more. They are made in China. Made in China means they are not produced by Chinese company, are made, assembled, packaged by subcontractor that are hired or used by the American companies or European companies that make semiconductors. The fab of all this component may be from United States or Europe, but the vast majority, and again, I've been in the semiconductor business for 42 years, so I can trust me when I said that. The vast majority of all these components are made in Far East, either in China or in Malaysia, some also in Vietnam. So does not exist is a myth, and possibly will be a dream to say 100% made in United States. It doesn't, never been that way ever. Maybe it was in 1957.
Right, yeah.
But nothing is 100% sourced in the United States. What I'm trying to source in the United States is everything related to the cabinetry, the chassis, the aluminum, and everything. But that's fun enough. I know that the aluminum sometimes doesn't come from United States because the metal is cheaper from either Europe or Far East, even importing it and transportation than what is actually done here. Again, we don't control the source of the material per se. Once we specify aluminum 6061 or any other version, and we don't know if the supplier actually sourced that aluminum from a USA foundry or not. So, but it's physically made in the United States, and everything else.
Yeah,
so of course. Everything else is actually then assembled, as you know, in the United States. We use very advanced PCB manufacturer here in LA that fundamentally has my business almost as a favor, I would say. Because they work specifically for the military, the defense industry in California, and aerospace and medical. So my product are high hand also because I'm made in this type of assembly site. So for that point of view.
So that's pretty high quality control in a build facility like that.
Trust me, it's not as cheap as it could be if I decided to make somewhere else.
Yeah. So the answer is no sub-assemblies are made in China, but some component parts are, which is true with anything. You find an American car, there's going to be chips inside there that are made in China. My Harley is going to have parts made in China. My Ducati is going to have parts made in China. The little electronic parts. You just can't escape it.
Yeah.
But
again, just to be sure that, and this is something I'm very proud about it, all the gallium nitride chip that we make, we use for the audio and the tempo and some new device were absolutely 100% made in the United States. A to Z.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's great to know.
Well, it's just a coincidence.
Yes. So tell us, I have a sneaking suspicion that you use Magnepan speakers to test your gear. What do you use at home? Let them know what you use at home when you're testing your stuff.
In reality, I used both. I have a CAF system in the lab and in the working area, and I have the Magnepan in my living room, which is my system. And I always loved the Magnepan. The first time I listened to them, I was absolutely, taken aback. I mean, it was like live. I mean, it was so natural, transparent. Again, I'm saying trivial things now that everybody have listened to the Magnepan probably share the same. Again, of course, since I'm not like my friend Mike that listened to certain music, and so I don't desire to have 140 dB of low frequency bass, and so the Magnepan cannot do that. They will never be designed. They've never been designed to operate at that level of sound pressure for low frequency. They cannot physically operate at that point.
That's right.
But I love them because specifically, if I had designed a Class D, and again, I joke about it most of the time, is actually Class AGD, is not Class D, to differentiate from the point of view of what we did really different. If you play anything wrong with the Magnepan or something that doesn't sound right it would be immediately put in evidence, specifically on voices in the mid-range, the high frequency. It will basically kill your ear. You cannot even stand. It will simply put forward all the defect and this is the reason fundamentally why I keep using the Magnepan, because I want that specific range of frequency in the reproduction of the sound to be perfect.
Yeah. You know what I heard from the designer of Fisher and Fisher speakers, the guy that does the design work, Michael Mudra, is he said that when he designs his speakers, he will record his voice calling his dog. And when he knows when he gets the speaker right, when the dog comes up and listens. Otherwise, the dog will hear the voice. He doesn't pay attention. But when he gets it right, the dog comes and will run over there. He knows he got the vocal right.
No, it's actually true. It's absolutely true. We had a cat, a beautiful, wonderful cat that we love it so much. It's passed away now, but she was the one that was always listening with me, and I knew when she was getting close, when I was playing music or testing anything, that if she stayed with me, well, it meant the sound was actually good.
There's the distortion is no distortion that's bugging her ears.
Well, I don't know what it is, but she stayed if it was good and not if it was not good.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So let's open it up for anybody that has any questions. Let's see if anybody has any things that we want to cover. I've got somebody here that says, I needed service for one of my Audion monoblocks and I live in Canada. I contacted Alberto and he assured me I would be priority. So that's great. I know that Alberto, oh, by the way, and I will expand on that. I can say from experience, Alberto is phenomenal customer service. No problem. Things are taken care of immediately. He's really got his shit together. He does not lag and take time like I maybe do. You're much better than I am, man. I take care of everything, but you are on it right away and very professional. Tubes come. If that's the nice part about having the tube pieces, if there is any problem, which I think in the whole 5 years I've been selling these, I've only had 2 times, and the tube you can just take the tube out and a new tube comes and boom, and that's it. And those were in the earlier models, and then whatever things were there were changed. The newer tubes are even more robust than they were and can take more. So yes, very good. Let's see if somebody else here. Somebody says, just visit Alberto's website. Truly impressive and well laid out. Congratulations. Somebody asked, let's see, what Magnepan version is it? They're the 1.7.
Yeah, the 1.7i. Yes, yeah, the one. They're very close to the bottom. It costs a lot of money to buy expensive speakers, and I would never, actually, my wife will never accept anything boxy inside the living room. So the Magnepan are just perfect for that. Anything bigger than that will not fit. So that's it.
Yep. So it's nice. Yeah. Here's Don from Detroit asks, can Alberto speak to the goals he has set for himself in the evolution from Grand Vivace Mark II, Mark III, and Mark IV? As far as GaN Fet tubes, is that what are the goals? I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, so the present version of the GaN Vivace is MK3, the same as the Audion on Tempo. Once we introduced the MK3 on the Audion, we basically percolated down the improvement, of course, on the Audion, on the Tempo for the Audion design, and also immediately on the GaN Vivace. For the MK4, I'm improving the controller, the PWM controller stage. I'm improving the comparator, and the layout. I'm not going to change the GaN Fet for the MK4. It is a more raffinate design from the layout. We are trying to reduce the power dissipation, improving the efficiency, optimizing the switching where possible, and make it, sounding improved, but not necessarily by changing the GaN, because the GaN that we're using is extremely good for that application. But in reality, improving the layout and the controller circuit to go into a more perfect switching performance. Because the switching performance of a GaN, of course, are intrinsic on the MOSFET per se, but are fundamentally connected to the way the driver drives the GaN FET, and of course the controller, the PWM controller, act accordingly to that driver. So we are working on that. And that's will be the objective from the electrical standpoint, and from the sound standpoint has to be as well for a much better improved sound. And typically we don't not a question to be typical or typical. We don't introduce an upgrade just for the sake of an upgrade. It has to be a real improvement, and has to be good and real for my ears first of all, and that's why. So that's the explanation.
Fantastic. We've got somebody calling in, and let's see if he's here with us. It's your friend with the great taste in music. Dave, are you there, Dave?
Yeah, I couldn't let Alberto be there alone.
Yeah.
Somebody,
There you go.
I texted him. I said, "Hey man, you got to be funny." And then I said, "I was just kidding. I know you have the sense of humor of a German."
Yeah.
Well, I actually want to say that I've owned a few components of Alberto, and when you buy something from Alberto, you're going to get something that's top quality, and he will. Anything goes wrong, he's going to step up. I didn't buy AGD from any dealer. I bought it from an Audiogon. He didn't have to step up when I blew his output board, and I blew it because I guess I was messing with the output devices before I let the power drain off of it. So it was my fault, but he took care of it, and I just I have a lot of respect. When you buy a product from him, not only are you getting something that sonically is great, but you're getting an artist. I mean, he is an absolute artist. He might be an artist first before he's an engineer. He's building something that is just eye candy. Mm-hmm. And every component looks exactly like it fits with the other component. So if you buy the amps, I say, buy the DAC. It looks perfect together. I had it on my office system. It creates no heat. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It just really is. So he's an artist. And I mean, just because he has a terrible taste in music, I don't think we should hold that against him.
Opera versus Tool. Yeah.
But David knows also
I have a lot of respect for you, Alberto. I really do. It's such a pleasure to go to shows and see you. You go to every one of them. You work your ass off. And,
that's for sure.
It's a pleasure going into your rooms, and so yeah, I'll see you in a week, and you're going to be the highlight. So can't wait to see you.
Yeah, right on.
Thank you, Dave. I promise. I will maintain my promise. I will never play your music again.
No, I'm playing it. I'm playing it. I'm getting into your. Your wife will hand me the controller, so it's no big deal. I don't need to go through you anymore. If I had one thing that I think would bring his stuff up another step, it would be to work on his remote controls. It's not that his remote controls don't work. It's just that it's not something he has his hand in. And I would like to see what he would come up with. And I just, it would be part of the art that you're getting, so you're holding on. The tactile approach that you have with audio is that remote, and that's not his. I could tell it, it's not his because it's Apple's. But I would say if he would work on his remote, it would even bring up his stuff to another level. That would be my only critique, which is probably nothing.
Sure.
I take this recommendation very highly, and then yes, on the integrated amplifier, we're working on something that would be much easier or simpler, to use, and actually compelling from the point of view of design as well.
That's awesome. By the way, that's satin black with the copper overtones. It's just so great. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable how good that looks.
Yep. Yeah. It's got that Italian touch. All right, brother.
Yeah, enough kissing ass. He's
Yeah.
he's a good guy. So, but I'll let him go. I'll see you in a week, Alberto. And
I'm gonna miss you guys, man. I may just have to come out last minute. I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
All
right,
maybe
buddy.
I'll just deal with it. All right, brother. Take care, man.
Yep. See you.
See you. All right. Cool. So let's see. Oh yeah. So I think you answered that question. Let's ask this next one. How would you describe the sound quality of the Andante Mark II? And would you design one without the phono stage that can be used with just digital streamer if you already have a source to lower the cost?
Well,
I don't think.
Again, so the Andante MK2 is born that way with all the functionality built in. The Alto MK2 can be ordered. I will make it orderable without the phono stage, so only with the streamer. And the streamer between... something
You're
happening.
There. You're still there. Network. Everything's good. Yep, you're good.
Let me see if there is a problem here with the. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe with the sound. I don't know.
Yeah, everything's good on my end.
Yeah,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
To get blank. I have no idea why. But anyway, so yes, the Alto MK2 can be. I will make it orderable without the phono stage because can be physically unplugged. And so it will basically have three line input. But the Andante, we cannot do it. It's physically, in order to simplify the design and to make it less complicated from connectors and wires, we have put the phono stage not anymore on a daughter board, but physically on the main board of the Andante MK2. So I will not make it without the phono stage. It's not physically possible.
Yeah,
so,
that's the big one you're talking about, right? Not
yes,
the Alto.
The Andante MK2. The Alto is I'm going to make it that is orderable without the phono stage to reduce a little bit the cost and keep the stream. By the way, the streamer of the two units are identical. The streamer stage is the same. The DAC is different, but the streamer is the same. And that will probably, I mean, if I do it on the Alto, I will probably reduce the selling price by $500. That will give a little, I mean, basically 10% cheaper than what it is with the phono stage.
Okay, that's cool. And it's an $8,000 piece, is that correct?
Yes, with the streamer. If you buy the streamer, yeah.
And then so it would be $7,500 without.
Yeah, and the same for the line stage. If you buy the line stage only, which I don't understand why somebody would do that, but it would be instead of $5,000, $4,500.
Got you. Okay.
But
so
anyway,
that's great.
So if Andre and I wants to order the Alto without the phono, can be done. The Alto MK2, just call me and we will do it.
Yeah, call me. And then we'll do it.
Call you, whatever. Call.
Yeah. And which I might as well plug myself now. If you guys want to buy AGD products, please just pick up the phone and give me a call, and I will take care of you happily. And you'll have a 30-day return policy, and blah 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 blah. You get a deal with Mikey direct. I know Alberto's great too. You can call him if you'd like to, but you can choose. You can buy direct, or you can buy from me. I would appreciate the business. And so that makes a good point, which is what Andre's talking about. So for $7,500, you guys, I can sell you a DAC with the streamer inside it, and subwoofer outs, and like it's a very complete solution. And I've listened to this, and it is absolutely my best solution for $7,500. There is nothing that can touch it, and that I've seen. So that will be added to the website very shortly, and that will be called the Alto. And it is the original.
It's already there, Mike. It's already there, but there is no the option without the phono stage. I will add that so people can order that, and then you have to do the same. So
I'll do the same.
If they order directly on your website, it will be possible without a phono stage.
Perfect. Got it. Okay, so let's see, and we'll design with the phono station. Okay, we already answered that question. Here's another one. What was the biggest challenge getting a new technology like GaN Fet introduced? What direction is amplification technology going for the next 5 years?
That's very, very interesting question, Eric. So the biggest challenge to introduce the GaN Fet was not necessarily the GaN Fet per se, but was to, at least for me, and I think is true for many, many, many companies, is to convince through a real product, something that actually it is good enough in the high-end audio, so that a Class D can be a high-end amplification device. And that is really was the most difficult thing, to be honest with you. Difficult to the point that I had to invent, and that was a serendipity moment, the idea of to integrate the output stage GaN inside a tube in order to convince at least if I have put, I tell the story many times. I told the story many times, and customer very often ask this question. Why did I put that in a tube, in a glass tube? And the answer was a combination of two, fundamental reasons. One, the engineering reason that I could do that because the power dissipation was reduced, the size is so fundamentally reduced, so I could do that, technologically speaking. So I had the chance to do it. But fundamentally also because I had to break this bias, this fundamental rejection that was set in the mind of so many people, and I'm talking about something that now is 6 years old story, when they were going to listen to something and then all of a sudden they realize it's a Class D. I would have put that device and design inside a coffee can. It would have probably sound extremely similar. Nobody would have entered the room to listen to a coffee can amplifier. At the same time, if I have just said is a Class D, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, very, very few customers would have been interested. So the tube was the element that, at least in the mind of an audiophile, made that type of connection of a good sound. And then, of course, the aesthetic. That's why we designed the classic version, if you wish, with the Art Deco and the kind of industrial design for the Vivace, Grand Vivace, that was really different from anything that was done by anybody before, and still today, in order to really make it very attractive from the curiosity point of view. And so was the classic reaction, so a positive, perception with the tube, a positive perception and feeling looking at the device, and then, of course, fundamentally solidified with the sound. And so at that point, people typically question, how is it possible to get this power level from a single-ended triode? And so, of course, then I start explaining that it's not a single-ended triode, but it's a Class D GaN Fet inside a tube. And then all of it, and that is actually start the conversation. 95% is a positive conversation. People smile, they realize how this bias is, was just a bias. But there is still 5%, and even today, few percentage that they would like to see me burn at a stake because I'm a sinner. I have broken and offended the Holy Spirit of the glass tube religion.
Yeah.
So again, so that's really was the most difficult thing. GaN Fet enabled me to put the device, the output stage in a tube that enabled me to break or start to break this preconception and bias. So that was really, really very hard. The next 5 years, I think that's this is an interesting question, how this type of product will evolve. And it's very much related to the, I would say, generation of the audiophile that will be in 5 years from now. We need to have more, younger people are getting into this passion for audio from beautiful sound, not necessarily only through headset or earpieces that basically destroy the drum of your ear after excessive use. And so eventually you get to 40 years old with the capability in frequency recognition that is more or less a telephone bandwidth, so 3 kilohertz, and that's it, because everything has been destroyed, listening music at that stupid level. But the point is, going into the next 5 years, I will see the Class D getting more and more adopted. for many reasons. Number one, because it can sound really well. And so that is the fundamental reason why we are in this business. But two, it's much more efficient. You get products that are necessarily much smaller. You don't need to have the air conditioning running because you are using tubes all day long. I mean, again, there are many, many reasons why the evolution of at least the amplification stage will follow what has been, for example, in power conversion, the trend in utilizing product that we're going to provide very, very efficient and very compact charger, for example. So smaller, something that you can go around and have no problem whatsoever to run your laptop or anything else you want to run with a very light and small charger. So I see the evolution into that direction. And the GaN Fet per se will keep improving. It's a fairly new technology. So the figure of merit of the product will improve in time. And there are many strong, important companies are fundamentally spending a huge amount of money to improve the technology, which of course will benefit the application in Class D. Trust me, they're not doing for audio at all. They're using for many, many different type of application. But relative to the specific of the audio, we will get benefit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Dave just said, I just found out Alberto's cat also has terrible taste in music. Dave, man, you're making me want to come there to hang out with you and Dave and have fun, man. It's always good to have that guy with. So Jay Ziagi, yeah, that's a example of somebody that was attracted by the tubes and got converted. I can remember in regards to that, somebody at the show, one of the first shows I did with Alberto, and the guy came in and he listened, and it was really fun for John. I had Big John with me for us to sit and watch the people come in because they all thought it was tubes, and then they'd sit and they'd go, wow, this is really good. Then you'd see their eyes go to the vacuum tube or over to the GaN Fet tube, and then you'd see the big question mark pop up on top of their head. Like, how the hell is one KT88 doing all this, And then they walk over to it and they look and they go, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then they can't take it back. That is how people, because they can't deny that they were under the ether, that they loved it, that it sounded as good as vacuum tubes. And they thought it was a vacuum tube, but then they put two and two together and realized that it wasn't. And I had a guy say, I wouldn't have come in. If I knew this was Class D, I wouldn't have walked in the room. We were like, well, there you have it, but he came in because it looked like a tube. So it was very, very smart way to bring a new technology to the market. Very, very much so. All right, Alberto. Well, we've taken an hour and 17 minutes of your time. So on Sunday night, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you, Mike, for the invitation.
You bet.
It's been a pleasure, and I think we should be doing it more often. I think that there are many questions from the audiophile and music lover that I will definitely be interested to address, telling, maybe something more technical eventually. So if people have some very interesting question about the circuitry or any curiosity about what we do, it would be my pleasure. I can even show circuitry eventually, whatever, the way we do it. So I will support you, Mike, anything you try to do. And I know you are very, very full of ideas. So
yeah,
let's do it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Sounds great, man. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay. See you. Okay, gang. So there was Alberto Guerra of AGD. Very good guy. And thanks for him to join us. If anybody has any more questions, you can come up. We'll have him back as a guest again. And let me go back and see if there were any of these things. Vinko checking in from Croatia. It looks like I've got an incoming call here, but I don't know how I can. Oh, hey, Alberto, did you try and call?
Hey, Sean, Mike.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I cannot hear you, but that's okay. Let me.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey.
Yeah, we're still online.
Okay. Oh, you're here.
Yeah, we're
No,
still.
let me turn on again the video. Give me a second. I mean, I'm doing too many things with too many products, many device.
Okay, we are
Give me a
still
second.
we're
Let me
still
connect the camera.
I'm still live with the stream, Alberto.
Okay. Well,
So
no, I was want simply to say thank you.
You're live with us. Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, I didn't know. So thank you very, very much personally from me and for whatever you have done for the invitation.
For
Ciao.
sure, buddy.
Thank
Okay,
you.
ciao. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Okay, cool. So, greetings from Croatia, man. I want to come and visit you, brother. Vinko, hang on to my information and contact me because when I go to Vienna next year, we're going to probably jump on a riverboat and head down to Croatia on the riverboat. And I'd love to come and see Split and see some different. I've heard great things about Croatia, so I'd love to see it. So you can contact me via the phone number, or it's an international number, or you can email me or whatever. But keep in touch, brother, because if you're from there, we'll come visit, man, and you can show us around if you want to. That would be really cool. So nice to meet you. Okay, so we did answer that one. Tribe, what's up? Rev is going to be our next ambassador in Seattle, and this guy is definitely a music guy. As you can see, he's got a Gibson sitting there. I think that's a Gibson. Doesn't look like a PRS. It looks like or is that a PRS? I can't tell. I think it's a Gibson. Anyways, it looks like a unique piece. So Rev will be heading up. He is getting 470s, and he will be heading up the Seattle tribe. So we're good there. We'll have our Seattle location. Slowly and surely, we're covering the United States. We will have tribe listening lounges all across the United States, and anybody that wants to get involved can be part of this network where you will actually be able to host people over to listen, and then you'll be able to earn a commission if any sales come out of your listening sessions, and we will show you how to become how to pay for your audio system and completely write it off. So just talk to Mikey, and I will help get you set up. Yeah, we got that. That was funny. And then Jay's okay. Beautiful amplifiers. Yes. Grazie mille. Okay, prego. Thanks, guys. You like the Italian? You got to put the Italian. You put the Italian accent in it. It's a very musical. I loved Italy, man. I miss Italy. There's a couple places that I go and I miss freaking Italy. Italy gets into you. It got into me, man. It got into my blood, and now it's like I go back and I feel like I'm back. It's a weird thing. Some places you get that vibe from. I get good vibes from California too, even though it's messed up. But I like the vibration in Cali. Subaru, what's up, man? Eric, does Alberto still use Maggie 1.7? He does. He does. He has very strict wife control on that, and he couldn't put boxes into the living room. You just bought speaker cables from Croatia. There you go, man. Thoughts on signature sound of von Schweikert speakers? Let's see. Okay, von Schweikert, and I'm getting confused. I always get Van der Steen and von Schweikert because they're both Van der Steen, von Schweikert, whatever. Von Schweikerts are good speakers, man. There are ones that I like. There's ones that I don't. There are some that are better than others. Sometimes I've heard them set up really good. Sometimes I've heard them where they just don't sound that good. So all in all, I think it's a good speaker. The signature sound, I can't comment on a signature sound because I've heard it be both. I've heard it be great. I've heard it not be great. So I don't know that I've heard it be always one consistent type of sound, but I know the build as well. And when I've heard them dialed in, they really sound good. And they were, what's the ones 550, 55 55s or something that I like. I can't remember the the model. But yeah, so I don't really have much to say. It will be my pleasure. Oh, you're from Split. Oh my God. That's epic, bro. Man, there was a guy who sent me a book. There was a guy. What was his name? Damn it. I have the book from Split. Vedrico. Oh man, what was his name? From Split. There was a man from Split that met me one time. Man, must have been 8 years ago, and he saw my cables or something, and he told me all about Split, and he invited me. And he sent me in the mail a book, a picture book of Split, and he wrote all sorts of stuff in the front. I'll find it and I'll be able to. I mean, I doubt. I don't know how many audio guys there are in Split, but maybe you know this guy. But he was the one that turned me on to it. And then I went and looked, and I'm like, Jesus, that looks gorgeous there. And then I talked to people that went, and they're like, man, Split is just beautiful. So that's cool. Gibson, that's a Les Paul double cut. No wonder I didn't recognize it. It's like, it looks Gibson, but it's got a double cut, which I always associate with a PRS. And I couldn't really tell from the little teeny thing. What is a good shipping carrier for speakers the size of the 470s? A freight, whatever freight. I like FedEx freight has been good for me. Never broken anything. The highfalutin ones are oh my God, Old Dominion, OD baby. Old Dominion is like the one of the top level freight carriers. Estes is like the cheap shit, right? And then there's a bunch of other ones in between, Roadway and shit like that, and whatever. So I trust very few. I use FedEx Freight quite consistently and with no issue. They come on time, they pick my shit up, they get it there on time. And maybe they're not as cheap as Estes, but Estes I just don't trust with valuable merch. So that is that. I think I'm going to go, you all, because I'm going to go back to listening. I've been listening to some great things. By the way, I made a real funny short video. If you guys are on my channel and you look at the shorts, I made one today where I just felt like being a black sheep. And so I just did a really funny video because I felt like doing one where I completely talk shit. And I just love doing that because it's just so fun. And what's the word? Not empowering, but kind of like emancipating, to be able to. I know it's crude. Yeah, I swore. I said the F word on it, but there's something about it that just feels so good to just say that shit to the damn industry. I just finished seeing C&H Precision releases a 96,000 euro. So it's over $100,000 CD player. Womp, womp, womp. Like, oh, give me a break. A laser reading a spinning disc, really. And you're gonna for $100,000, like how long are those little lasers even gonna be made for to read a disc? Like, it's definitely not something that there's any future in, right? So they're trying to, who knows what the reason why somebody would buy a CD player or transport. I think it's probably a transport. If it's that expensive and that high end, it's probably just a transport. It's not even a DAC. Then they sell you a CH Precision $100,000 DAC to go with your $100,000 transport or whatever. But the bottom line is, it's antiquated old bullshit. And when I see that stuff, I just realized, it just pisses me off. It just makes me realize how much bullshit you guys get perpetrated, how much bullshit you get shoveled, about the industry. What is really, CD sound is better than streaming? No, it's not at all better than streaming. If your CD player transport sounds better than your streamer, you need to up your DAC game, buddy, because a CD doesn't sound better than streaming, if it does, there's something wrong. Okay. So it can. And if it does, that's your sign. I need a better DAC. That's my opinion. So yeah, so I did make a short and I just said it, bro. I was laughing the whole time I was doing it. You can hear when I get to the end when I say end DAC, I'm laughing because it's like that is zero filter. That is Mikey with absolute not even a hint of a filter on. Like straight up speaking my damn resentful mind of the industry, because I just resent the bullshit in the industry that you need to have a super expensive cartridge and a super highfalutin turntable and all these vinyl records that aren't even made well anymore. And just, oh my God, it pains me. So I will keep hammering to you guys, and I will keep bringing you all solutions that are simpler and more elegant than this antiquated old 50 box bullshit. Okay, we could just like, I'm thinking of t-shirt slogans right now, like say no to 50 box bullshit, or like something like that, right? The 20 box lie, or something like that. You're picking up what I'm laying down. It's just the industry narrative is that you need all these freaking boxes, and the idea is so that they can keep selling you freaking boxes. And I can make a system sound as good or better than those multi-box systems for not only a lot less money, but a much simpler system. And so that's going to be my big middle finger to the industry and to the narrative, is going to be finding you guys single box solutions that throttle the piss out of their multi-box solutions for less money. And then that's the whole reason I got into hi-fi, was to make cables that kick the ass of the big expensive ones for less money. That was my whole plan. And now it's just expanded to the whole rig, other than cables. And if we've got to make it, if nothing exists that kicks ass, then we will make it. I've got engineers. Right now we're working on speakers and that are going to be, oh man, I'm not even going to go into the design until we've got them and I can show them to you. But they use the same highfalutin drivers that Martin uses, those convex or the convex honeycomb what is those ceramic accutons, and we've got really, really good designers that are also fed up with the way the industry has gone, and we will throttle it, and you guys will be part of it. And I may not be the most highest viewed guy on YouTube with the highest numbers of views and all that shit, but you cannot get what you get from the tribe and from Mikey anywhere else. So even though we're smaller, the value comes. Dynamite comes in small packages. Let me put it that way. Dynamite comes in small packages. The best shit is the stuff that you're on the inside of, that not everybody knows about already. So thank you all for that. Yep. So Jasper liked the short, right? It was straight and to the point. It's probably a tarted up CD-ROM drive. Exactly. Like, who makes the drives anymore? Philips doesn't make them anymore. There is no Philips CD Pro mechanisms being made anymore, and those were the shit. After that, it just got cheaper. So who makes optical drives anymore? It's not music companies, which the CD Philips Pro was. It's computer companies. So it's a CD-ROM. It's exactly what Shane's talking about. It's got to be a CD-ROM. That's what's in the Playback Designs. Doesn't mean it's really bad, but the Playback Designs transport is 20 grand, not 100 grand, and even then, the only reason I suggest people buy that one is if you have SACDs and you have a lot of them, and you want to be able to feed the MPD8 its highest possible thing you can do is to feed it direct straight SACD through the optical transport, then you can do it. But that's 20 grand is a lot to just have that little extra feature. You better have a lot of SACDs. So I almost tell people, look, put your money into a streamer than that. So it is, I'm sure. Tommy loved the short too. Good, man. I'm good. I'm glad you guys get my humor and you get my brashness, because I know it's not polished and it's not, but look, it's like I either can give it to you guys straight, which nobody else does, okay, or I can stroke you and chub you up and act like some You know, and this is what these high-end dealers do. They wear suits and they act all proper, and they're trying to play a game to take the money of the people and sell them 50 boxes. I won't do that, man. I'll be true to you guys. I'll tell you how it is, you know, and you get a real bro that is on your level selling you gear that's never going to leave you hanging out to dry, is not a serial biller with billing for everything. I'm not hung up on that shit. So ask anybody who is who has done business with me. I have the most happiest customers that I know of. Physical media is making a resurgence. Well, that's great because I've got a bunch of it for sale. I think it's making resurgence by idiots, you know. Downloaded David Chesky. Yeah, he's got downloads. Oh, you downloaded the demonstration CD. There you go. Okay. The ultimate demonstration disc. Pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. Andreas completely redesigns the one he uses, takes all the plastic shit out. Oh, for the CD-ROM drive. Yeah, I would imagine so. Like, yeah, I would imagine. 1644 CD through my MPT8 to my MPD8 sounds glorious. I suppose, man. I don't have the patience to get up and change CDs, man. But you know, and it's hard for me to tell people they really should pay 20 grand for a transport. Now, if I got it in here and it was like heads and like clearly better than the streaming, like it was obviously way better, then I might say, holy shit, start a collection, bring your CDs back out. But even then, man, it's like such a pain in the ass to have a stack of CDs next to the transport. And where do you put all the CDs? Do you want them in your, I don't even want them in my room. So I'd have to stash them in the closet. And then when I want to change CDs, I got to go into the closet and find the ones and look at all the things and find the ones that I want. And then do I arrange them by alphabetical or do I arrange them by genre? You know, how do I want, it's just, it's so gone for me to consume music that way, that to go back to it would be just a pain and suffering. And even if it was better, I may just opt for streaming anyways because of the explorational, which I know isn't a word, but for the explorational ability of streaming, you know, for the you know what I mean. Not everyone agrees. Numerous experienced audiophiles have remarked that CD at its best sounds superior to streaming at its best. Well, okay, then, you know, what is it worth? Okay, so CD at its best is 100 grand for a transport and 250,000 for the DAC. So you're gonna pay 350,000 to listen to your CDs? Is that really what, is that who I'm talking to? I doubt it. You know, so what this comment is a perfect example of for everybody is just postulating. So it's reading stuff and then postulating a fantasy world where you have CD at its best, because you're never going to. Okay. Unless you're the Sultan of Dubai or you're a billionaire, and billionaires don't watch my freaking channel. They don't watch YouTube. They have their peons go shop for them. So their peons might be watching YouTube right now and buying for them, but they don't go deal with retailers and buy audio systems. They have people that their people do it. So, numerous experienced audiophiles. Who is numerous experienced audiophiles? The guys that work for the magazines that get paid by CH Precision? Is that who the experienced audiophiles? No, those are experienced journalists, okay, that have written about and pitched hi-fi and jacked hi-fi's thing off for the last 40 years. So that's what those guys, you know, do. So who do you trust, you know, and what is it worth to you? And so let's see. And so AS says the best CD transports are around 20K. Okay, cool. I sell one that is 20K. So if you want to buy a CD transport for 20K, I've got the best one on the market, the Playback Designs. Any streamers under 3K you recommend? No, I mean, I say if it's under 3K, you can get anything. It's just not going to matter. There is no like, oh, if you buy a $1,500 and then you buy a $2,500 streamer, they're going to be the same damn thing. There is no, it's like anything under 3K, it's all the same until you get to about probably 4,500 or 5K, then 4,500. Then you start to get into a different level. So Small Green Computer is a good streamer. If you want a streamer that is no nonsense, the guy has really good support. I don't sell them. So any of you that think I only talk about stuff that I sell, I'm selling you Small Green Computer right now. And you can go direct to Andrew, talk to him, or you could get for $4,500 a Nagra, which is does not hold the library on it. It's $4,500, and you can use the digital output to a playback design streamer. DAC, which makes it pretty sweet deal, because if you buy the playback design streamer, it's $11,500. So get it in there, mate. Trust me, it's sensational. Oh, you're talking about the transport. All right, I'll ask for one. I guess I'm just old school. I collected physical media way back and I still got it out. Same with me. It's in storage. I've got boxes of thousands of CDs and I don't give a shit about them. And they're, I just as soon sell them to somebody. But yeah, I've got all the physical media. But again, what am I going to do? Am I going to build the CD shelves again and have like 50 shelves loads of CD? Because that's how many CDs I have. I used to work at a damn record store. I have fucking boxes of compact discs. The thought of going through and searching for certain media and trying to make my decisions based upon what my eye can see on a little strip of spines, it just makes me ill. I get spilkus thinking about it, I get verklempt. It's like, no way. So, can't do it. Any streamers under 3K you recommend? Yeah, we did that one. There's no doubt about it. Convenience of streaming high-res stuff is sensational as well, and I loved it for exploring new stuff. Yeah, I'm there. The best CD transports are around. Yeah, we did that. I've never heard anything better than the MPT-8, and that's nowhere. An MPT-8, and that's nowhere near that price. No, I know it's 20 grand. How's your thing coming with the Grim MU2, man? How's that going? Agreed, Aussie. The MPT-8 is said to be the best by many. Oh God, don't make me fucking buy one, man. If you guys go on a little bit more, I'll just get one in here. It's no thing for me to get it in here. We should ask Dave. Dave, are you still watching? Do you compare the streamer portion to your spinner on your MPT-8? If Dave Olson is still watching, let's find out. Let's ask Dave. Your DAC plus 20K and you're spinning CDs that will never sound any better than that. Yeah, no, I get that it won't sound better than that, but what I want to know is how close, because I've done a comparison before with direct rips versus streaming, and I could hear the difference on the Beatles between a direct rip from a CD rip versus something streaming. And first of all, there's no way. All I'm going to listen to is old music if I listen to my CDs. It's not going to be anything new because I'm not going to go out and buy new CDs. That's definitely not going to happen. So what would the purpose serve? I'd pay 20 grand to rehash my old collection at what, 10% better? It doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather put 20 grand into XRP and hedge that it's going to double, if I've got 20 grand that I don't, really care about. But if it's 10% better, I'm not into it. I don't care. My shit sounds so freaking good right now that it's like I get cocky, right? It sounds so good that I get cocky and I make a damn video short like I did today telling people this thing kicks everything's ass without, and I swear, because I get cocky, because I listen to it. I'm like, this is so freaking good that all this bullshit that they spew out of the audio industry's mouth is all bullshit, man. Like, get your ass over here and sit in a chair and let me play that 9-inch nails for you guys. And you're just going to fucking shit yourself. That's all there is to it. You'll be like, there is nothing. I don't even care if better exists. I'm in complete heaven right now. So it's like, You know, it's like being in complete heaven in a, Ferrari, and then somebody telling you, well, Bugatti is better. You know, it's like, dude, I've already got the Ferrari 355 or whatever the hell. You know, I don't even know which one's 450, 458, whatever. You know, I've already got the Ferrari, man, and it's killing it. You know, what do you need to go to a Bugatti to, or are you just going to be happy for what you have? It's like there's a mentality that goes along with never being satisfied. And I find in my life to find benchmarks where I'm satisfied and be happy and enjoy my blessing at that point, I think is smarter than to not be happy with it and keep looking for more. Because I think a keep looking for more is a never satisfied feeling for me. I'd rather have a satisfied feeling, hang it up, ding the bell, and I've succeeded. Because always looking for something greater is not success to me. It's lack of success. When you ding the bell and you stop, that's where you've succeeded. So that's how I look at audio. You know, I think I've succeeded with this system, and I can do it for others. Agreed. Aussie MPTN8 and probably the outer limit of what CDs can do. I would assume. I wonder if he's got one he can send me. I'll listen to it. It would be. You did the big shootout in the videos, Mikey, between the Grim and the playback. What happened? Just give me the Cliffs notes. I think the nuance is that the masterings are different between medias. That could be if do ABC, some moves use, some don't. Can't wait for my MPD8 to arrive. Some streaming sounds bad just because it's a bad master. Yeah, give me an example of some streaming that sounds bad with a bad master, Rev. Give me an example, and let me go play it on my rig and see how bad it is. You are so right about streamers. I tried so many streamers, and they all sounded like a Raspberry Pi until I spent $5K. Then bam, exactly. So anything below that, it's all pretty much the same thing. It's real close. Well, tell me more, man. Is the AGD, and then we'll send everybody over to get to your channel to get the review. Is AGD Alto Mark II just PCM D2A, or does it do DSD also? It does DSD, but it does it as DOP. So what the proper question, I think, Andre, that you're asking, is it a multi-bit DAC or is it a single bit DAC? That is, like, I understand what you're asking, and I'm telling you the proper way to ask it. The proper way is to say, is it a multi-bit DAC or a single bit DAC? It is a multi-bit DAC. It is a R2R ladder DAC on the AGD. And it's both, and it's in the Alto and it is in the Andante. The Alto to me is a triumph for $7,500. And then, I mean, who needs the Phonopre? You don't need the Phonopre. If you need the Phonopre, that's just a total bonus for $500, man. You know, one less box you need. And as you know, man, I've got something coming up for you guys that's a single box solution that is badass. It's Class A. It's made in Italy. It's badass. 25 grand. It's sweet. Or maybe 28 with the streamer. So yeah, so it will do any PC, every PCM DAC will play DSD. It's just, it has to be wrapped in PCM. So it's called DOP. Yeah, but I guess if we were doing that, we wouldn't spend any money on hi-fi. We would just play the market and lay on the beach and wonder what all the poor people are doing. I that sounds pretty good, Shane. You know, I mean, I'm into it. You got good beaches down there, brother. I think I ought to come down and work on my tan. Would love for you to bring in the MPT8 and do a shootout for CD versus streaming. Okay. I'm totally game for that. I just have to see if they'll support it. What I need to know is if there's one that's loose. Sometimes what happens is, in order to get the MPT8, I have to order it and then they make it. Like, he doesn't have one sitting there, and it's like, I don't want to spend the money just to try it. But I can see if they're willing to let me check it out, because, hey man, if I get hooked on it, then I'm going to be selling everybody one of those deals, But I just, okay, so look, even if it sounds better, what I'm worried about is the whole procedure of putting damn discs into a drive, dude. And then having the stack of the most common listened to CDs right next to the transport. not even using my collection, just having my favorite 10 CDs. And it's such a horrible way to listen to music that way. I remember that's how I used to. That's how we all used to listen to music. We'd have a stack of discs sitting next to our CD player, and we would just listen to 15 discs over and over again. I mean, it was so myopic and so restrained in its listening. Even though I had thousands of CDs, I would listen to a stack of like 25 over and over and over again. And it doesn't open you to the world of music. It closes you into a squirrel cage of music. So even if it sounded better, I just don't think the listening process would fit my lifestyle of going through freaking discs, looking through the spines, trying to read each spine. Donovan, I don't really feel like listening to Donovan. Depeche Mode, not really. Beatles, do I really want to listen to which Beatles? Well, and then you pull it out, open it up, and wipe it on your shirt, and then pull out the drawer, and then set it down, and then put it back in, and then press play, and then walk over, and then sit down, and then listen to it, and then be like, oh yeah, this is pretty good, but now this reminds me of that other thing I want to listen to. I just listened to, this is White Album, but I really want to listen to Revolver. I feel like listening to Taxman. Oh yeah, okay. Well, let me go over to my thing. Let me look for Beatles, find Beatles, Revolver. Where's Revolver? Okay, there it is. Now I got Revolver. Let me pull that. Okay, let me go over, open up the thing, the tray comes out. Okay, look at it, put it back into the White Album. Okay, put the White Album back on stack it next to my CD player. Grab the Revolver. Okay, open it up, take it out. Okay, wipe it on my shirt. Okay, put it on the thing. Put the tray back in, so press play, go walk back to my seat, sit down, listen to Taxman. Oh yeah, man, Taxman, awesome tune. Hell yeah, oh shit, this reminds me of, something else I want to listen to. No, dude, no. So even if it does sound better, I don't care, because I'm not going to go back to the old ritual of listening to music, which is archaic and a waste of time to me. It's a total time burner. I don't want that. The older I get, the more I value my time, right? And anybody who's gotten older can attest to this. Your time becomes more valuable. So what I do with every little bit of time is precious to me. And I'll tell you what, a lot of times I like to not do shit, okay? I don't want to have anything to do. I really want to have the luxury of not having to do anything. So the more things I stack into my life that give me something I have to do, I really don't like them so much. I'd rather do it in reverse and make less things that I need to do, that I have to do. And then I can have more time to be a human being and just be, rather than a human doing and just do shit all the time. That drives me crazy. I'd much rather be a human being, okay? Therein lies the whole conundrum with the physical media thing. I'm not into it. So I even if it sounds better, I highly doubt I'll pull out all my old CDs, put a rack back up, and start sifting through CDs. So I just can't see it happening. So I don't think I'm going to ask for it, because even if it sounds better, it's going to sit there and I'm not going to use it. It's just like my tapes, dude. I've got hundreds of tapes. Those tapes are way more engaging, sound way more rich, and just like have this freaking texture to them when you listen to music. But am I going to listen to the tapes? No, I'm extremely limited on what I can listen to with the tapes. And it's a pain in the ass to route those things through, demagnetize, clean the heads, do all that bullshit, man. No way, dude. Eventually I'll sell all of my tapes and my tape machines, I just don't need it, man. I'd rather do other things with the time. Time is precious. Time is precious. We all die. None of us is making it out of here alive, okay? We all die. And so we all have a limited amount of time between now and when we die, right? And we don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen freaking tomorrow, right? So every little moment should be enjoyment, if you can make it that way. And there are ways to do it. You can make it so that every moment is enjoyment. Don't have kids. That's the first thing. Don't have kids, man. I didn't have kids. I dodged that bullet. I figured the chances of me enjoying my time it's just my hedge is better without a kid, if it's anything like me, causing stress like I did to my parents. If that would happen to me, it would just eat my time and my serenity. So there's ways to make it. So I look at it that way, man. So every little thing that I can do that makes life experience freaking enjoyable and like the ether, when you're in the ether, right? How do you explain it? It's like there's certain points where you're operating in the ether and everything is just happy and smooth and cool and enjoyable and just pleasant. And my trip is to remain in that zone as much as possible. So sifting through CDs and trying to find them, even if it sounds better, to me, it's too much work. I'll do it and put it up on my channel. There you go. So Shane will do it. He's already got it. Some masterings have all the bass yanked out. Some don't. Yes, I know. Like Duran Duran had some bass yanked out. Some Van Halen is horrible. So unfortunately, I'm not thinking the hardware can add bass where it doesn't exist. This is a subjective thing. Give me a song where no bass exists, where you think it's horrible. And let's see, because my system is extremely adept at pulling bass out of old Beatles and Rolling Stones and things that you didn't even think had bass. It is a lot of times people will add subs just for that reason. Cool, Ozzy. So AS is into it. Yes, I agree, Mikey. There's a point where you simply have to stop and just enjoy the music. Yeah, I mean, however person makes their happiness, right? If Shane, if your happiness is pouring over like crate digging, right, for records, or crate digging for CDs, then by all means do it, man. Some people like to sit and dig in the dirt, and it's their peace, their serenity. So if you get your serenity from searching for music, then some people do with albums. I especially get it. Like, I understand that ritual, and then holding the album and pulling it all out, it's too much of a time drain for me, but I understand what people get out of it, right? And it's probably the same for some of people that dig for CDs. Red Hot Chili Pepper Stadium Arcadium is brick-walled. Okay. I will provide a rip of the vinyl and you will hear what's missing. The MPD-8 can help make crap sound good. Yeah, because Stadium Arcadium, which song? Any of them? I'll pull it up, man. MPD-8 is still my reference. That's the one line answer, but there's a lot more than that involved. Okay, well, I mean, I don't need to really know more. You chose the MPD-8. So we can say it came close, but it didn't win you over. That's all I really need to know. There's a lot of shit that comes close, that just doesn't do it, but I respect Guido Tent. I know him. And I respect Grim Audio and their designs. But you would be the second guy that I've had that has compared the Grim Audio MU2. Can't remember which one he had, but he compared them side by side and stayed with his Playback Designs streamer. We're talking about the streamer, not the DAC. Sup, Mikey and Tribe. What's up, Luther? Good to talk to you. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Long time since I caught your show. Best regards to you and the Tribe from Kenny and Deborah. Fisher Speaker Fan Club of the World. Sweet. Get over here, baby. Brother, I'm coming. CDs are indeed ugly and inconvenient. Unfortunately, I'm already invested in thousands. I know. And if you've already got the shelves made and all that shit, then why change it? I took all that stuff out and I have them all in boxes and storage, and I don't want to bring them back into my life. I'd rather not have it. I'm at a point in life where, again, like I described about my time and making it sublime time. And part of that is making everything simpler. So everything across my life, I need to purge a lot of stuff that I have here and then just lead a more simpler life, less stuff, more time is really what my mantra is. Mikey, we completely get it, but it's also generational, man. And what we're seeing is a complete global corporate takeover in the music industry, but certainly CDs are a pain in the ass to read. What we're seeing is complete global corporate takeover. Okay, what are you describing, Nick? Like corporate takeover. Okay, so that is super general. Like what do you mean more? Like let's dig into this, Nikki. Let's dig in. Go deeper, man. I need a layer deeper. Thanks. Aha, we get it, Mikey. Right on. He's got ADD audio too. Yeah. I'm just particular, dude. I just realized I'm one of those. I just realized we create our own life experience. It's our creation. So it's our choice when every time comes to eat food, for instance, as one thing of many. It's our choice to choose, are we going to waste this meal? Am I going to waste this time by eating some shit ass food that is just grovel, like whatever, what would you call it? Grovel. I don't know what the hell, what you call it. Shit stuff, regular Cisco food service slapped together shit, like, whatever, IHOP or something like that. Like, are you going to waste? You have an opportunity right now to have a sensory experience. And that is going to involve taste and visual. I don't know about sound, but it's going to be taste, smell, and visual. You have an opportunity to create that experience. So create it how you like to. Do you want to create it with food from the Quick Trip or the 7-Eleven, or do you want to create it and have a sublime experience and go and have, it could even be a peach, a fresh, ripe peach, organic peach. Way better experience than a freaking hamburger out of the 7-Eleven, so you can have and it's your choice. It's your choice to have, and some people may not have attenuated senses like that, or they may not be into experiential living. I'm very much an experiential being, and I'm into that. So I find every opportunity to have an experience a precious opportunity to have an experience, because I know my time is limited and I'm going to freaking die before I know it, right? So why not curate my experience to be high level freaking all the time? Otherwise, it's wasting this gift that I've been giving, which is my time to be here on this planet, right? So that's kind of how I look at it. I know it's getting all like fucking whatever heavy or whatever. I stream, but I just store the preferred sources better. There you go. I want to see if that changes when you get the MPD-8. I have the feeling that's going to change, because it did for me. Funny how people romanticize the experience of vinyl and how it slows down the listening experience, but mock CDs on the same. Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's something more visceral about vinyl, I would say. If we're going to analyze this, there's a physical needle going into a groove, dragging across a piece of plastic, making music. That's freaking tangible, man. That is visceral. There's a lot packed into that, man. Throwing a little fucking reflective disc that people chop Coke rails on into your fucking thing that's got all these little scratches, or maybe you don't even have any scratches on it, but some little piece of shit plastic that people hang from their mirrors when they're Puerto Rican and they live in, or Cuban and they live in Miami, and you're gonna throw that shit into a little laser reader that's gonna read it and then do some, sampling of it in a digital way, and then spit it out. It's not quite the same. I think vinyl is far more romantic than a CD. A CD is a shit piece of shit to me. Vinyl is not. I mean, look, I'm having the conversation for the sake of a little debate here, because I like to do that. Point counterpoint. But I think vinyl is way more romantic, and the vinyl has a whole visual experience that is more engaging than a CD experience. The liner notes on a CD are not nearly as engaging as the liner notes on an album. It's just the pictures are bigger. It's got art. You fold it out. If it's got a booklet, it's like way more engaging from a printed media standpoint and a graphic art standpoint to me. So I find vinyl way more romantic. Now, I wouldn't want vinyl. Don't get me wrong. I would not want it, but I find it way more romantic than a frickin' reflective little piece of shit disc that you throw into a laser spinner, you know, which is like, it's like a half-ass computer. It's like, it's not even, streaming is full tilt computer. CD is like half-ass computer to me. It's like old technology that isn't quite fully flushed out yet. They fixed it. There is no spinning media in solid state, you know, in streaming. There's not, it's not spinning. It just seems more advanced. The CD seems archaic and half-assed to me. It's like an answering machine. I see a CD like an answering machine that we used to have those big clunky answering machines that we'd press the buttons on, rewind and play, you know, like that's how I see a CD player. It's one step above cassette. And I would even say cassette's cooler because it's dragging magnetic tape across the head. I mean, that's tangible too, man. That's a freaking piece of ferrite embedded, you know, whatever it is, polypropylene or whatever the hell that shit's made out of, plastic, right? Embedding it with magnetic fragments and then magnetizing and then charging it. And then, I mean, that's cooler. You know, that's even more romantic, but vinyl is number one in romantic. Maybe now even tape has the sound romantic, but the experience, you don't get the liner notes and all that stuff that you do with the vinyl. The vinyl is packaged for retail use, so it's got a better presentation, right? Anyways, we got to digress. My MPTA is a hamburger with the lot. I have it because it has the Rune core and the 2 terabyte server incorporated. I don't know what hamburger means, but that probably means good. Like, yeah, because you've got the Rune core and the 2 terabyte server. Yeah, that's pretty badass, dude. I wonder if he could make one of those. Well, yeah, he doesn't make those anymore. He doesn't make those anymore. I don't know why. I think maybe it was there was probably some sort of something associated with it, made it easier not to have. That's completely fair. Go ahead, Nikki. Go a little deeper. But it's like if we only get 1 hour to listen, then I'd prefer that 1 hour to be really great. Totally. And I'd prefer that 1 hour for me to have the most amount of listening to music in that 1 hour and the least amount of futzing around, right? Yeah, physical media sucks, but the music streaming services only have the mastering set up for mobile devices. Are you telling me the record labels master things for streaming? I find that hard to believe. I think it would be mastered for, well, maybe the new shit might be because that's how you distribute it. But the mastering set up for mobile devices, which means headphones, which means, dude, the new music is mastered pretty freaking wicked. I mean, I listen to like you listen to some of this shit, the popular shit that I don't even like, but sometimes I check it out just to see, to check the pulse of society. I just kind of listen. I'll listen to some of the popular music, like the latest whatever shit that I don't even know what it is, but I listen to it anyways. And usually it's pretty good. Like from a mastering standpoint, production standpoint. CDs never sounded as good as MPD8 and Fisher. So this comes from Don, who's got 570s and the MPD8. Can't wait to get up there, Don, man. I'm bummed we missed you, but I saw Detroit on on the TV last night, and I'm like, man, I want to go to Detroit, dude. We're gonna go up there. I want to see Motown. I want to see some house music while I'm up there. Mikey, if you die, what happens to my warranty? The manufacturer takes care of it. Easy. But it's kind of like albums that way, Mikey. You sit there and listen to the whole audio picture, the artist's paintings, that whole album is the art is lost now with streaming. Yes, absolutely. That's true. But if you really value it, then you just listen to the whole album on streaming. But I don't necessarily always want to listen to 45 minutes of the same album. You know, I get that there's a trip that they're laying down. They're laying down a trip and a story or whatever. And it's like, what you're describing is like saying, You know, well, if you listen to a symphony like Mahler, you should listen to the whole symphony front to back. And really, that's truly true. It makes sense. But who really wants to sit and listen to a full Mahler symphony or a full Dvorak or whatever? I mean, maybe you want one tune, and then you're kind of like, okay, this is getting a little whatever, something. I'm not feeling it anymore. I'd rather change up the vibration. So I'm picking up what you're laying down, but I don't necessarily agree that it's necessary. Now, if we were taking acid or mushrooms and we wanted to go on that Moody Blues trip or Hendrix or whatever, then you definitely want to listen to the album front to back because you're getting a complete story synopsis and you've got time and time goes fast and whatever. But in normal daily listening, you've got an hour to listen and you've just got an hour. Are you going to listen to only one album for that hour? Probably not. You're probably going to listen to some of your favorite songs to, you know, to feed your Jones. Doing things keeps me fit and staves off old age. Oh yeah. I mean, doing things is different than fiddling with finding CDs. If it keeps me fit, I'll go swim, you know, I'll go play pickleball. I'll go ride a bicycle, you know, I'll go do something like that. I'd rather that be my exercise than getting up and down in the audio room. Agree with you on that, Ozzy. Yeah, you got to be an old man. If that's your exercise is getting up and putting the album on, you're fucking too old. You know, you need to get outside. Subs rock. Old, no bass 70s albums need subs. Yeah, or just albums that have, or I mean, speakers that have good bass. Like my speakers right now have retarded bass. So tell me the old no bass 70s album. Like I still haven't heard. All I've heard is Stadium Arcadium. I haven't heard anything else. Give me something, Rev. MPD8 may be my sea change on the mastering thing. I'm wondering, man. I think it will be really interesting. MU1 needs a DAC. Okay. Doesn't MU2, isn't that what the MU2 is for? 3 labels on 70% of recorded music industry, and those 3, okay. 3 labels own, I guess, 70% of the recorded music industry, and those 3 labels own 20% of what? 25% Spotify. Sorry, driving stream, but not Spotify. It's garbage. I don't listen to Spotify. So I don't even know what it's all about. I know that all the kids use it, but I don't listen to it. Mikey, I'm going to call you this week. Let's talk. No problem, brother. Happy to do so. My issue is that the streaming masterings have always flat in the sound stage. MPD8 may change me. I think it will. It's extremely there. If there's one thing that MPD8 does is it takes music and turns it 3-dimensional from flat. And of course, you have to have your speakers set up properly, but I know that you know how to do that. It's over 1 gig on one song for high definition audio file that matches vinyl. Okay. Okay. That's an interesting piece of trivia. But that's all it is. The interesting piece of trivia. Everything streamed is mastered for all. Okay. Yes, they do. There are usually 3 masters done, master for vinyl. I know that much because they need to EQ it with the RIAA curve or whatever. A master for digital. I get that. And a broadcast master. What that is for what? For the radio, no? Kenny, totally agree. Enjoy a couple of classical pieces. Uh-oh. Hey, Shane.
Hey,
What's up, buddy?
what's going on?
Not too much, brother. How you doing?
I just thought, I'm good, man. I'm good. Rather than typing, I figured I would just be quick because I know you want to wrap things up.
Yep.
But I just wanted to talk a little about like the convenience of look. I've got, as we know, I've said that I've got a lot of vinyl and I've got a lot of CDs because I grew up, you know, when all that was the thing you did before streaming was even around. And there is, with the MPT8, as I've got it, which is now unobtainium, it's not available like that anymore, with the Rune Core, the 2 terabyte hard drive and the CD, SACD, playing something like a Dire Straits Brothers in Arms on SACD, which I just did on my channel not so long ago. It's freaking glorious. Like that's, and I get your perspective as well about having to drag all that stuff back out. I absolutely do. But I just want to reiterate to everybody too about that. And you were just talking about it when I rang you, about that trip, that journey that the picture that artist wants to paint for you. And I'm not talking about classical music, because quite frankly, some of it's okay in short bursts, but I'm not into it as a full start to finish deal. But a lot of albums I am, and I think a lot of other people are too, where that picture is painted from start to finish, and there's a journey you go through, and that to me is still just as important as far as quality time spent in front of my system. Now, with streaming, you do get that jump here, jump there, and I think the majority of people, that's what they do. And that was my point about the art of that picture being painted in an audible sense from an artist is lost in a way. But again, all the convenience of streaming outweighs a lot of this. I get that 100%. But the MPT8, really honest, I mean, I've listened to a lot of really high-end spinners, and that is, again, that's why I have it, because I've not heard anything any better than it.
Sweet, man. That's cool.
And I just want you to get your ass over here as quickly as possible, please, because Jesus, man, I gotta put you down in front of this thing. And I want to just quickly, one more thing I want to say is look, I support you 110%. I love you like a brother, and I haven't even met you yet, but I feel like you and I are going to just go crazy when we get together. And I funnel a lot of traffic your way as well. And I just want you to, if you wouldn't mind giving that review on my, my DAX shootout, a bit of a plug there, which I know you have done, because there's a lot to unwrap in that, rather than just I gave you the one word answer. Yes, the MPD8 is still my reference. It's still the best DAC out of over 300 DACs that I've had the experience to listen to over my 40 years in this game. It is still the yardstick. It is still the reference. But the Grim Audio MU2 as a one-box solution is and has broken very much new ground. It is a stunning bit of kit in a lot of areas, but it ain't the MPD8 as far as its digital to analog conversion is concerned.
Sure. So it's not an amplifier, though, is it?
No, it's not. You're right. You'd need some either active speakers or an amp and passive speakers. But as a digital front end with a killer multi-analog input preamp, it is. I mean, honestly, mate, for 20 in this country, I'm not sure about over there. I think it's just under 20K over there. But over here, it's about 27K. And honestly, I've heard preamplifiers that cost that much over here that this thing would embarrass. Like, it is worth the price of admission for the preamp in it.
So it's an analog preamp too? It has analog inputs?
Full analog preamp. Yep, analog inputs on XLR and RCA. It's got all the standard servings of digital inputs, and a very, very nice resistor ladder relay volume control in the analog domain. Yep,
cool, interesting.
But
yeah, again, maybe I'll get one in and compare it to Alberto's AGD piece, which is also a complete front end with a R2R ladder and a very good DAC. I mean, that was the Andante along with Alberto's amps and the Fisher and Fisher 370s are what David Chesky stopped at the show and asked for a private listening session afterwards, came from that. So I wonder if anybody in the US that has an MU2 send it and wants to send it to me and get me to send you something in return, like a Meitner MA3i, I'm willing to do a swap out or whatever, and to let me have one for a little bit to do a review. I'd like to just compare a comparison rather. But
yeah, I mean,
cool.
I think that'd be a great. That would really be a good one to do, actually, because Alberto has got some really good stuff. I'm hoping to get some AGD in my room to have a look at it as well at some point soon, because I'm a fan of it.
Do you have a dealer down there?
I'm sure I do. I've just got to get onto them. I've got that much stuff lined up that I want to get in here and play around with on my channel. So, if anyone's interested, pop over and have a look on mine. I think it's a pretty good review and it fleshes out. I mean, I don't go into all the technical bullshit.
Right.
I just talk about what I'm hearing and as an ex-sound engineer and with 40 years in this game in all different ways, shapes and forms, I've heard a lot of stuff. So,
Yeah. For anybody
whatever
asking,
that's worth for somebody.
For anybody wondering, it's Shane and an Aussie audiophile. All you have to do is look on YouTube and search for an Aussie audiophile, and you'll be able to see the comparison that Shane made with the playback designs and the MU2 from Grimm Audio, and you'll be able to see he gets into it a little deeper. And Shane's got a great channel there, so go visit him.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. And it's just I pitch it more on a real world thing, like you do, very much like you do. There's other channels out there doing all the specs and the this and the that and the everything else and the Amirs of this world and all them. Great, that's their bag. That's what they do, but they don't listen to equipment. If they don't listen to it, and they push test tones through it, then it's not worth a pinch of shit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
If it doesn't move you, if it doesn't make you cry and give you goosebumps and make you laugh and get you up playing air guitar, then go do something else.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, brother. Well,
anyway, look, I was only going to be quick. So Good to hear your voice, brother. Look after yourself. Thanks, everybody in the tribe. Love yous all.
All right, man.
Talk soon.
Cheers, brother. See you. Okay, so we got a question from Born Joker. Okay, so this is an interesting question. Are you willing to call in and let me answer this, and then you can talk with me back and forth about this? Because this is like what you're asking me is kind of a conversation a little bit. So I will put this across. The phone number is 415-484-5121. I'd like Born Joker. I'd like you to call in if you don't mind. And let's have a discussion, and we can probably cover this. And maybe there's a lot of people that are wondering, and it'd be an easier way for us to cover more ground if you just call in 415-484-5121. And then I'm happy to answer this question for you. Again, 415-484-5121. Let's see if Born Joker will call in and give me, I would, but I can't talk. My wife is sleeping. Okay. Okay, cool. So, so if you want to play, I mean, there's a lot of questions that I'd be asking you. Like, you want to play music from your PC in a listening room, or you want to listen to it at your desktop, or you want to use a laptop as a source, in a audio listening rig. So I don't know in what context you're asking. I need to decipher first how important the output is to give you a good answer for that. Depending on how you're going to use it will tell me how important it is. 32-bit, does that mean it's good? I don't know. I mean, it could be. Just the highest fidelity possible, so I know if the equipment I'm listening to is any good. Okay, I had a system before that I listened to from a PC, and it sounded so much better. So typically, the DAC is where the rubber hits the road. So if it's a 32-bit, a sound card, you want it to output USB, and then go to a digital to analog converter via USB. Okay. Typically you're not going to, a PC is a noisy source. Okay. So if you just take your normal computer, you're going to want to, if you just plug into a normal USB output, it's going to be horribly noisy. If you put in a sound card, it's going to be much better. Okay. If you have a purpose-built PC where all you do is play music from it, then it's going to have a special power supply. So it's even better than your normal computer with the sound card. You would build a small build, you'd put a sound card on it, but you'd have a special audio level power supply, blah, blah, blah. And that's what these streamers are. They're PCs that are only meant, they have very small operating systems that are only meant to output music for them, such as Small Green Computer. Okay, it's a great subject. You can also get these things called Weem or other things if you only want to spend a couple $100. Another one that's decent is Allo from India, ALLO. But that thing is a single board computer or a Raspberry Pi, so you'd have to know a little bit about distros, and you have to know your way around computers a little bit to put those together. But if you know your way around computers a little bit, it's pretty simple. And then, but a standard PC is not a good source, and especially a standard PC if you're not using a sound card. And then really where the rubber hits the road is the DAC, the digital analog converter. So like if I plug a laptop into my $26,000 digital analog converter, it's going to sound freaking phenomenal and then I have $40,000 amps, $110,000 speakers. So yeah, it's going to sound sick even from a computer. But typically, no, a PC isn't how you want to output your music. Unless it really doesn't matter. But if you're looking for the highest fidelity possible, then you get yourself a streamer and a good DAC. You're going to want to spend at least $1,000 on a DAC. You're going to want to spend at least $1,000 on a streamer, So, in my opinion, anything under that, I really don't know. So, yeah. So he's saying standard PC is not a good source. Okay, so it's all about getting the noise down that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. You bet. It is all about getting the noise down. The thing is, mainly the power supplies are very noisy, but that's it. You want the output to be clean of noise and then just accurate. Have good, accurate clock on it that's accurate. Okay, so I got to go, man. 2 minutes and 2 hours and 25 minutes. I got listening to do. Okay, everybody. See you. Thanks for joining. See you on Wednesday. All right, later. See you.